Good morning, welcome to today's video. Today we have a review of the D.510C for the Chinese tech tree. This vehicle is exactly the same as the French Pallier's D.510, and the only difference between that aircraft and this aircraft is the skin. So this aircraft comes in at 400 Golden Eagles, which is 150 Golden Eagles more than Pallier's D.510. Is it worth that extra investment price? Not really. The problem is that this aircraft, as I said, it's an exact copy. If it maybe had a better engine, maybe had better performance overall, maybe had additional guns maybe a couple of bombs, I might understand the reasoning and the price difference. But I'm afraid I can't find a reason to pick up this thing. Now, of course, I picked this thing up during a sale, which was 200 Golden Eagles. And yeah, 200 Golden Eagles, bear in mind it's only 50 less than the standard price of Pallier's D510, just isn't worth it. In terms of armour, it's exactly the same, with it being a single 3mm plate, which isn't going to help you in any situation. The guns are exactly the same, being they're a Hispano 404 cannon with 60 rounds. You then have two wing-mounted Mach 1934 machine guns with 300 rounds each. These machine guns are rather weak, especially given that there's only two of them, but your cannon definitely does make up for that, so make sure to be careful with your trigger finger. If anything, this thing teaches you that. Overall though, it's just not the best in terms of firepower, especially when you lose to 20. The engine is exactly the same, with it being a Hispano Souza 12 XBRS. A 12-cylinder inline engine with 894 horsepower on web and 820 on 100%. This isn't it's pretty okay. Gets this thing into the sky very well. But as I said, if it had a better engine than the D510 and the French tech tree, I'd definitely understand the increase in price, so to speak. Recommended belts. This one might come as a bit of a shock, but I actually recommend stealth on this thing for the 20mm. Now, if you're new to the game, that's not the best idea. I would actually try universal in that case, because at least you get a tracer around to guide your shots. But if you're relatively experienced with a cannon like I am, and it's really easy to aim this thing, run stealth. Stealth gets the job done. In terms of the 7.5, however, this is not exactly a good gun, so I would personally just have universal. This is because you get a good mix of tracer to guide your shots, because you're going to need it to get shots on target. You also have a decent mix of AP and incendiary rounds to help out against Japanese aircraft, and other things that are more flammable, like the biplanes that are in this tier. But otherwise, I just can't really see this thing being worth the investment. I know it's cheap and everything. If you've got spare G, you might as well get it. But if you really want a low-tier fun toy for China, there's a very easy answer in not just the tech tree itself. There is vehicles that you can talisman, but there's this thing, which not only has, well, it obviously trades a little bit of gun performance, like the 2762s are not great, but the bomb load of this thing is incredibly good. The maneuverability is much better than the D510C. It's also only 125 Golden Eagles on sale, and it's only 250 off sale. So not only is it cheaper, it's also more versatile, and whilst it does trade its gun performance, it more than makes up for it in every other aspect other than initial speed. I know the Hawk 3 says on the stat card that it's actually faster than the D510, although in my personal experience that's not the case. But overall, the Hawk 3 is just more worth it in my opinion, and if you really want something that is more versatile than both of these put together, I'd actually recommend the V11 and putting a talisman on it. You will need this aircraft fully spaded though, and there is an additional option in the form of the HS-123. These two aircraft are very capable in what they can do. And if you want a fighter that can do this, just pop a talisman on the I-15 Biz and thank me later. But yeah, unfortunately this thing just isn't really worth that extra 150 GE and, well, in some cases 75 GE because obviously sale. I just don't think it's really worth it, especially when the other rank 1 premium is just better. But anyway, I'm going to jump into the gameplay now. I hope you'll enjoy seeing what I mean about the cannon at least, and I will see you all on the next one. Well, it looks like we've got the altitude to ourselves. It's just a F2A Buffalo to deal with. That's the thing about this plane, if you put it in a 20-degree climb, you pretty much don't get touched up here. Except for the bombers. So it's a very consistent aircraft in that regard. Oh, we've got someone calling noobs. Wonderful, that's a great way to start off. There we go. Short burst, that's all you need. These cannons hit very hard. Well, this cannon hits very hard, plus the machine guns. Well, the machine guns are a bit weak, but you can set a tight convergence to avoid that. Scratch one. Let's go for that J8 next. Okay, that bomber's put his fire out, so that's fine. We can deal with him later. Watch that P-26. I'm not too worried about it, but what the hell are you doing? I mean, sure, that works, but we're not in Australia, pal. Flying upside down doesn't help you out. SM-79 up there. I'm going to try and hunt down the P-26. The 112 I can deal with later, but I need to run down this P-26. What the hell is it? Is he trying to outrun me? You can't outrun this thing. This thing may not be a fast aircraft, but you're not faster than me. He sounds like a lovely person to be around, that guy in chat, that's for sure. Is he going to throw it in the ground to deny the kill? Yes, he is. Wonderful. Plus, I find it funny how he's calling people noobs, and yet he's been sat in the back of the map for the last... Well, in fact, he's been sat there the entire game. Like, come on, dude. You can't call anyone a noob. I don't think... Like, you are off the runway, but, like, come on. If you're gonna shit stir, back it up with some facts, you know? Like, prove to us that you're not a noob. But I don't bloody know. Alright, let's see if we can deal with these trucks before I get nuked. Because the AAA is very balanced. That is sarcasm. Don't really want to get hit by it, but I don't really want to use cannon on them either. Why does my plane show damage? I've not taken a hit this entire game, but okay. There we go. That guy just needs to shut up. Hold on, Sparviera. On the plus side, this thing can actually kill the medium tanks, but with stealth belt on the 20mm, it's a little bit more difficult, but you can do it. You have to target the rear of the tank. I'll demonstrate in just a moment. So yeah, you do get 1 AP, but the HE round can also do it. And that is game. There we go. Not a bad result. Nice and simple game for a nice and simple plane to learn. That's for sure. Well, that one thing's for certain. This plane can definitely, like, it's easy to fly for one thing. You just stick your nose up at 15 to 20 degrees, shoot up into the sky, use your trigger discipline, which it will teach you that, so don't worry about that. So will Pallier's D.510. But yeah, not a bad result for this plane, and certainly goes to show what it can do.